Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. We've got some really interesting source material today from you, our listeners. John C. Maxwell's Developing the Leader Within You.
Yeah, great stuff. Really foundational.
And we're planning to really unpack it, get to the heart of what makes a leader.
Absolutely. Our mission, if you like, is to pull out those key insights.
The kind that aren't just theory, but things you can actually use. Practical takeaways.
Right. Shifting that perspective, leadership isn't just a title. It's a journey, personal growth, influence.
And that's the core, right? Influence.
Mhm.
These ideas should be helpful no matter where you are in your career, or even if you don't see yourself in a leadership role right now.
Definitely. And what struck me right away reading Maxwell again is that fascinating point he makes,
Which one?
that you can absolutely have a leadership position and not actually be a leader. And the flip side is true too.
You mean leading without the official title?
Exactly. It really forces you to ask, what is leadership, fundamentally?
Okay, let's dive into that then. What's the absolute core, according to Maxwell? Strip everything else away.
It's influence. Simple as that.
Just influence.
He says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's your ability to actually affect others. Guide them.
There's that proverb he used too.
Oh, yeah, the one about he who thinketh he leadeth.
And hath no one following him is only taking a walk.
Right. Paints a pretty lonely picture, doesn't it? Just strolling along by yourself.
It really does. And it reminds me of that James C. George's quote you pulled out.
Which one is that?
Leadership is the ability to obtain followers. It's active. You have to attract people.
Precisely. It's not passive.
Yeah.
And this definition immediately flags a huge misconception.
The title thing, equating leadership with rank or position.
Exactly that. Thinking the job title makes you the leader. Maxwell points out two big problems with that mindset.
Okay, what are they? What goes wrong if you think title equals leadership?
Well, first, you get frustrated leaders. They have the corner office, the title.
But no one's really following.
Right. No buy-in, no real motivation from the team. They've got the position, but zero influence. It's hollow.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second problem?
It makes people wait. They think, oh, I'm not a manager yet, so I can't lead. I'll wait till I get promoted.
So they hold back from making a positive impact.
Yeah, they wait for permission for the proper title. But like we said, influence isn't about the title. You can build it right now, wherever you are.
That's actually really empowering. It puts the responsibility back on the individual, not the org chart.
It does.
And speaking of individual influence, that statistic you shared was mind-blowing. Even introverts.
Oh, yeah. Influencing, what was it, 10,000 people over a lifetime? Estimated, of course.
10,000. That's incredible.
It really is. And it just shows we're all influencing and being influenced constantly, every day.
Like a child talking a parent into something.
Or a teacher guiding a student, a friend giving advice. It's everywhere. In every relationship, every group, influence is just there.
So, if influence is the foundation, and we all have it to some degree, what's the next step? How do we actively grow that potential?
Maxwell really hammers this home. You have to take responsibility for your own leadership growth.
It's a choice.
A conscious choice. Decide to develop that ability to influence more people more effectively. It doesn't just happen when you get a promotion.
Okay, so moving beyond just positional leadership, Maxwell talks about cultivating influence more deeply. How do we do that?
Well, the first big step beyond just relying on your title is understanding its limits.
You mean what happens when you only lead because of your position?
Yeah. You basically just get compliance. People do the minimum required.
Because they have to, not because they want to.
Exactly. There's no real buy-in to the vision. He mentions signs to look for, like low energy on the team, tasks feel like a drag.
Yeah, just people going through the motions. Sounds draining. How do we get past that?
That leads to his level 2 of leadership, permission. You earn the permission to lead through relationships, connecting with people, building trust. They follow because they respect you, not just your title.
Okay, so relationships are key.
Foundational. But he warns you can't stay there too long either.
Why not? Isn't building relationships good?
It is. But if you only focus on relationships and don't move towards getting things done, leadership stalls. You need something more.
And that something more is results.
Bingo. Results. You mentioned that story about Gooch, the salesman.
Oh yeah, the one who couldn't spell but sold like crazy.
That's the one. The president sends out this memo praising Gooch's sales numbers, deliberately ignoring the typos.
What was the point?
The point was, results talk. Performance matters. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, if you deliver, people notice. That builds influence.
It makes sense. People respect competence, success.
Absolutely. Think about picking a basketball team.
Okay.
You have someone with a fancy coaching certificate but no wins versus, say, LeBron James. Who do you pick?
LeBron, obviously. You want someone who wins, who makes a team better.
Exactly. People naturally want to follow those who produce results and, importantly, help others produce results too.
Which leads right into empowering others, doesn't it?
Perfectly. Maxwell is crystal clear. Great leaders empower others. He says something really strong.
What's that?
Success without a successor is ultimately failure.
Wow. So just being successful yourself isn't enough.
Not for lasting leadership. A core job is developing people, helping them grow their own leadership potential.
That's the multiplying effect you talked about.
Precisely. Develop more leaders, the whole organization gets stronger. It ripples outwards.
But how do you get good at developing others? Does that just happen?
No, not automatically. Maxwell ties it directly to the leader's own commitment to personal growth.
You have to be growing yourself.
You have to. He says only growing people are effective at growing others. And he lives it still focused on learning in his 70s.
That's commitment. It really shows leadership is a journey, not a destination you just arrive at.
Never arrive. Always learning, always refining.
And tied tightly to that growth is credibility, right?
Absolutely vital. Credibility. He brings in the Casas-Posner first law of leadership.
Which is?
If you don't believe in the messenger, you won't believe the message. It's fundamental.
So if people don't trust you, they won't buy into your ideas or vision?
Exactly. Things like loyalty, commitment, energy, productivity, they all hinge on whether people believe in their leader. Credibility is the currency.
So it's all connected. Influence, relationships, getting results, helping others grow, your own growth, credibility. They build on each other.
Like layers, or maybe interlocking pieces, and it's continuous.
Which brings us back to his 5 levels of leadership. It's a journey through these stages.
Exactly. Not static levels you just reach. You earn a level, like permission through relationships or production through results, but you have to maintain it. Keep working at it.
And influence can disappear fast.
Much faster than you gain it, unfortunately. So the progression is usually build those relationships first, then deliver results, then consciously focus on adding value to people, investing in their development.
And the more influence you build, the bigger the impact you can have. Like that poem you shared, My Influence.
Yeah, that really hits home, doesn't it? How we affect people in ways we might never even know.
It makes you think about the ripple effect.
It does. Developing your influence isn't just for career advancement. It's about making a bigger positive difference, striving for significance, not just success.
Like Aristotle mentoring Alexander the Great. One person's influence echoing through history.
A powerful example of how far influence can reach.
Okay, so influence is huge. But another constant struggle for everyone, leaders included, is time. Or the lack of it.
Right, that feeling of never having enough time. But Maxwell shifts the focus.
How so?
It's less about controlling time you can't really, and more about controlling your choices, your calendar, and crucially, your priorities.
So it's about where you direct the time you do have.
Exactly. When you feel overwhelmed, look at what you're choosing to do, what you're committing to. That's where the control lies, especially for leaders, because your priorities affect the whole team.
You told that chilling story about the plane crash.
Oh, in the Everglades, yeah, a tragic example.
They got so focused on a burnt-out landing gear light.
A relatively minor issue that they completely lost track of their altitude, flew right into the swamp.
It's a powerful metaphor for getting bogged down in the small stuff and missing the big picture. Losing sight of priorities.
It really is. And it links to that common problem,
Yeah.
saying everything's a high priority.
Which means nothing is really a priority.
Right. It just diffuses your effort. You end up making little progress on what truly matters because you're trying to do everything at once.
Like that joke about the ranch with the ridiculously long name.
The Flying Lazy YW Barjay Susie Crew Ranch. Yeah, trying to be everything means you're not really anything specific.
So instead of just reacting to whatever fire drill pops up,
You need to be proactive. Plan ahead. Define what's actually important.
Maxwell contrasts initiators and reactors, right?
Yes. Initiators think ahead, plan, take action. Reactors just react, wait for things to happen to them. The key question isn't, will I be busy? Because we're all busy.
It's, will I be busy doing the right things?
The things that actually move the needle. Yes.
And the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, helps with that.
Immensely helpful. It's a great tool for prioritization.
Remind us how it works.
Basically, it suggests that about 80% of your results often come from just 20% of your activities or priorities.
So find that critical 20%.
And focus your energy there. If you have 10 things on your list, Maxwell suggests the top 2 probably give you 80% of the value.
That's huge leverage. Focusing on those top 2 could give you 4 times the return compared to spreading yourself thin across all 10.
Exactly. It's about strategic focus.
And this applies to people too, not just tasks.
Absolutely. He suggests investing roughly 80% of your time and development efforts on the top 20% performers on your team.
That sounds a bit unequal.
It might seem counterintuitive, but the idea is you get the biggest return by amplifying the strengths of your best people. It lifts the whole team.
How do you do that practically?
Help them identify their high-return activities, delegate lower-priority stuff away from them, give them opportunities to grow. It's strategic investment.
Okay, focusing energy for maximum return. Beyond the 80-20 rule, what else helps define priorities?
Maxwell uses the 3 R's.
Requirement, return, and reward.
That's it. Requirement is what you must do. Return is what you do well and gets results. Reward is what you genuinely enjoy doing.
And the sweet spot is where they overlap.
Ideally, yes. Aligning what's required, what you're good at, and what energizes you. That leads to a more sustainable and fulfilling way of working.
And the last piece of this priority puzzle, margin.
Margin.
Yes.
Crucial, but often overlooked.
What is it exactly? Like profit margin?
No, more like buffer space. It's the space between your absolute limit, your capacity, and your current load. Room to breathe.
Why is that so important? Isn't being busy productive?
Yeah, constantly running at 100% capacity with no buffer leads to burnout. It's counterproductive long term. Margin is where you recharge, think, reflect.
So what does margin allow for?
Recovery after intense work. Time for relationships, exercise, thinking strategically, handling unexpected things without derailing everything. We just aren't built to go full throttle constantly.
How do you create it? It feels hard to do when things are busy.
It is hard, especially for driven people. But it's essential. You have to schedule it. Schedule your priorities, yes, but also schedule downtime, real breaks, time off, intentionally.
Even short breaks help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about consciously building that space into your life. Vital for long-term effectiveness.
Okay, mastering priorities is key. Let's shift gears to another huge topic, integrity and trust.
Foundational. Absolutely fundamental. Maxwell is very direct about character.
He says good character doesn't guarantee success, but bad character
Will eventually sink you. Personally, professionally, it catches up. But the good news is character isn't fixed.
you can change, develop it,
Yes. It's never too late to start making different choices to build integrity.
and trust seems to be at the absolute center of character and leadership.
It really is. Maxwell admits he used to think of trust as just, a nice to have.
But his view changed.
Drastically. He realized it's essential. Everything depends on it. Follower engagement, connection, buy-in, effectiveness. It all rests on trust.
It's the bedrock.
Completely.
And whose job is it to build trust? Does the leader wait for the team to trust them?
No, the leader has to initiate. Take the first step. Trust others first and actively earn their trust. Extending trust often inspires people to act trustworthily.
What about mistakes? Does one mistake destroy all trust?
Not necessarily. If you've built a strong trust account beforehand, people are often willing to forgive a mistake. But if the trust was already shaky, yeah, it can be damaging.
He mentioned Billy Graham's honesty about human flaws.
Right, acknowledging that we all have imperfections helps keep things in perspective. Nobody's perfect.
And being authentic helps build that trust,
Yeah,
not pretending to be perfect.
definitely. Authenticity means being real. Sharing successes, sure, but also acknowledging struggles or failures makes you relatable, human, builds connection.
This links to that Adam Searist and Adam the Second idea from David Brooks.
And yes, a great concept. Adam Searist is the external resume-building self, focused on achievement, status.
And Adam the Second.
That's the internal self. Character, morality, empathy, serving something bigger than yourself.
And society focuses mostly on Adam Searist.
Often, yes. But Maxwell, like Brooks, argues developing Adam II, your inner character is crucial for lasting leadership and wisdom.
How does that inner development work? It's different logic.
Kind of inverse logic, yeah. You gain strength through vulnerability. You find yourself by serving others. You grow by giving things away. It's about the soul.
So nurturing that inner harmony between what you believe, think, and do is key to integrity.
Exactly. Integrity means wholeness, not being divided. A divided life weakens character. Finding your identity internally, in your character, not just externally in your image or accomplishments.
Like the Theo Epstein example with the Cubs. Building a winning team based on character.
Right. He prioritized character when bringing players in, believing it was essential for a winning culture, and it worked.
Character, trust, integrity. Clearly a powerful foundation. Okay, let's move on to leading change. That's always tricky.
It is challenging, but Maxwell offers a key insight right off the bat.
Which is?
People don't resist change itself so much as they resist being changed.
Oh, that cartoon. Everyone wants change, but nobody wants to change.
Exactly. That captures the human element perfectly.
So why do people resist being changed? What's going on there?
A few things. One is just discomfort with the unfamiliar. We like our routines.
Like trying to lace your fingers the wrong way feels awkward.
Or a golfer changing a swing they've used for years. It feels unnatural at first. Another big one is fear of loss.
Losing what?
Could be anything. Losing a familiar process, control, status, security, even just comfort. Emerson said, for everything you gain, you lose something. Change always involves letting go.
There's also fear of looking foolish.
Yeah, fear of ridicule, like Wilt Chamberlain shooting free throws underhand. It worked better for him, but he felt silly doing it, so he stopped.
And leaders sometimes ignore the emotional side.
Big mistake. They treat change like it's just logical, a procedure. But people have feelings about it that need acknowledging, like a dentist needs to acknowledge potential pain.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So how should leaders handle change?
Maxwell gives us that acronym. Plan ahead. It's a really practical framework.
Okay, let's break it down. P.
P is predetermine the change needed. Don't get complacent. See the need before it becomes a crisis. Rick Warren's quote fits here. The greatest enemy of tomorrow's success is yesterday's success.
Mel?
Lay out your steps. Create a clear, logical plan. How do we get from here to there?
Yeah.
Adjust your priorities. Be flexible. Change might require shifting focus or tweaking the plan as you go.
Man.
Notify key people. Early communication is crucial. Be transparent. Bring people along.
Okay, that's plan. What about ahead? First A.
Allow time for acceptance. People need time to process. Resistance is normal. Communicate clearly, simply. Maybe even slow down communication sometimes. Let it sink in. Acceptance comes in stages.
Like, it won't work,
Yeah.
then it'll cost too much, then I knew it was a good idea all along.
Exactly. H is like head into action. Don't get stuck planning forever. At some point, you have to start doing. It takes change to make change.
Yeah.
Expect problems. Change creates friction. People might glorify the past, complain about the present, fear the future. It's natural. Be ready for it.
Second A.
Always point to the successes. Reinforce the positives, however small at first. Build momentum. Show it's working. Reinforce, reinforce, reinforce.
And D.
Daily review your progress. Keep checking in. Keep communicating. Stay on track. Adapt as needed. Churchill said, to improve is to change, so to be perfect is to have changed often.
It sounds like a solid process. But it all comes back to credibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The law of buy-in. People buy into the leader first, then the vision. If they trust you, built on your influence, priorities, and integrity, they'll be far more willing to follow you through change.
Okay, moving from change to another inevitability. Problems. Leaders face problems constantly.
It's part of the job description, really. M. Scott Peck started The Road Less Traveled with life is difficult, leadership is difficult, leaders solve problems.
But Maxwell sees opportunity in problems.
He does. He argues problems introduce us to ourselves, to others, and to new opportunities. Solving them is actually one of the fastest ways to gain leadership experience and credibility.
You mentioned he learned key lessons from early problems. 6 of them.
Yeah, formative stuff.
Yeah.
Like security is just a feeling, not a place. Your attitude determines your altitude, huge one.
What else?
That leadership is fundamental. Everything hinges on it. What you don't know can hurt you. That focusing on others makes you resilient. And sometimes all you can offer is hope.
And problems keep coming, right? Like milking cows.
Huh. Yeah, they never stay milked. Problem solving is ongoing.
So leaders need mental agility. Belief that there's always an answer.
Crucial. You have to believe a solution exists and be flexible enough mentally to find it. Good leaders handle the immediate issue while keeping the big picture in view.
How does that mental agility work?
It's like juggling puzzles, holding different pieces, seeing how the big picture affects the small details, living with that tension between needing specifics but also being fluid.
And adversity reveals character.
Often does. Think of historical figures, Washington, Lincoln, FDR, MLK Jr., Einstein. They face huge problems. Problems don't have to break us. They can make us stronger.
But the leader needs to take responsibility for finding solutions, not just pointing out problems.
Yes, Don't just identify the issue, own the search for the solution.
And he gave 8 ways to look at problems as opportunities.
Right, things like spotting them early, looking from all angles, involving your team. Don't be the only answer person. Ask questions, coach.
Don't just grab the first easy answer.
Yeah. No, dig deeper. Keep focused on solutions, not the problem itself. Look for multiple options. Have a bias for action. Don't get stuck in ready, aim, aim.
And see every problem as a chance to improve.
Exactly. How you handle problems defines your leadership. Choose to see the opportunity within them.
Okay, next up, attitude. Maxwell calls it a plus factor.
It really is. A leader's attitude is contagious. It sets the tone for the whole team or organization. A positive attitude fosters a positive environment.
He talks about the whatever it takes mindset.
Yeah, that's huge. It shows resolve, determination, focus, commitment. It's about refusing to give up when things get tough.
How can we actually work on improving our attitude? It feels kind of abstract.
Well, you can consciously choose to be positive, focus on the good, actively value people around you, practice gratitude, especially when things are hard.
Like Charlton Heston finding things to be grateful for, even in tough times.
Right. And try to see things from others' perspective, put on a new pair of shoes.
And embracing failure is part of a healthy attitude.
Absolutely. Success and failure are travel companions. You can't have progress without risking failure, especially when you're trying new things. Only people who don't try never fail.
See, success is varied, not just one thing. Welcome the unexpected.
Yeah, like accidentals and music unexpected notes that add richness. And importantly, develop the security to learn from mistakes.
A mistake is only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Exactly. That's the key mindset shift.
And beneath attitude, problem solving, all of this is serving others.
That seems to be the real heart of leadership for Maxwell. Truly effective leadership is about service.
Inverting the power pyramid, leader at the bottom, supporting everyone else.
That's the visual, shifting from get people to help me build my thing to how can I equip them for service and success.
What are the guidelines for being a better servant leader?
Don't rely on your title. Believe in people's potential. Focus on serving their needs. Define your success by their success.
He uses examples like Washington, Franklin, Gandhi, Schweitzer.
Yeah, powerful examples of leaders whose focus was on serving a cause greater than themselves or serving the people they led.
And those questions he poses are really helpful for focusing on service.
Very practical. The adding value question. What can I do to help them succeed?
Alone we could do so little. Together we can do so much. Helen Keller.
The mentoring question. How can I show them the way by going with them, leading by example?
The team question. What unique thing can I do for the team? Playing to your strengths for the group's benefit.
The evaluation question. How will I know I'm serving well? Look at the people. Are they growing? Succeeding?
The blind spot question. What am I missing? Requires humility, seeking feedback.
The respect question. How can I gain value while adding value by serving? It's reciprocal. Helping others helps you.
Zig Ziglar's idea. Help others get what they want, and you'll get what you want.
And the giftedness question. What do I do best that lets me serve best? Using your unique talents, experiences, passions, and service.
So it's about leveraging who you are to lift others up.
Beautifully put, yes.
Okay, another absolutely essential quality, vision.
Indispensable. Leaders see more and they see it before others.
And that helps followers see more too. Act faster.
Exactly. It expands their horizon. If the leader lacks vision, the people probably won't find it on their own.
Why is vision so critical?
Well, first, what you can see determines what you can potentially achieve. Vision comes first, then the power to lead towards it.
Second.
What you see depends on what you're prepared to see. Vision requires positive expectation, preparation, like the Wright brothers seeing flight where others just saw sky.
And third.
What you see is often what you get. You have to believe it to see it become reality.
Like Woodruff wanting Coca-Cola within arm's reach everywhere.
Or Walt Disney envisioning Disneyland before it existed. Or even Flip Wilson's comedy, he saw the joke before he told it. Leaders have to see it first.
The leaders need to look beyond the day-to-day grind.
Keep their eyes on the horizon, yes, but also on their people. Rick Warren's thermometer, quote, applies here too.
Put a thermometer in the leader's mouth to gauge the organization's temperature.
Yeah. The leader's vision, or lack thereof, sets the climate. You can't take people further than you can see yourself.
How do we increase our vision then?
First, believe there is more out there to see, more possibilities. Vision isn't static, it needs expanding. Then, translate that vision into reality. Communicate it clearly, paint the picture, share your passion, live it. And Bennis said, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality.
Spend time with inspiring people. The who luck.
Yes. Seek out people who stretch your thinking, who see more and before. Be intentional about it. Ask questions that expand your perspective. Shift from directing to inquiring.
And keep growing personally.
Always. Personal growth fuels vision. The question becomes, how far can I go, not just how long will it take? Steve Jobs said, the vision pulls you if you care about it.
And you have to truly own the vision yourself.
Absolutely. Deep personal ownership is essential for achieving it and getting others on board.
Look around for needs, look above for purpose, look ahead for trends.
Great summary. Vision often comes from seeing a need to serve. A higher purpose gives it meaning. And looking ahead helps anticipate the future, which is critical today.
Those metaphors were great too. Birds for inspiration, orchestras for harmony.
Architects for building, artists for creativity, guides for leading the way, parachute makers for impact. Vision is multifaceted. It's a fire, an inspiration, a guide. Keep looking for it.
Okay, we're nearing the end. The final essential. The price of leadership. Self-discipline.
The toughest part, maybe, leading yourself first. Maxwell says everything worthwhile is uphill.
And self-discipline is what gets you up the hill.
It's the engine. It turns good intentions into good actions, bridges the gap between knowing and doing.
That gap between sounding good and doing good again.
Exactly. Keep going, as the poem says. Don't quit when it's hard. Huxley's quote nails it.
Do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not.
That's pure self-discipline, overcoming emotion with commitment.
The pain paradox, short-term easy leads to long-term hard.
And vice versa. The discipline is uncomfortable now, but pays off later. Avoiding it feels good now, but leads to regret or difficulty down the road. Logic versus emotion.
How do we build it daily? The daily dozen.
Making conscious, value-based decisions every day that guide your actions. Consistency compounds. Small disciplines add up over time.
Control emotions, like Bobby Jones in golf. Know what matters most.
Yes. Avoid emotional decisions. Focus on priorities. Choose the pain of discipline over the pain of regret.
Discipline-driven people act. Emotion-driven people wait to feel like it.
Generally, yes. Consistency makes you reliably good. People notice. Like Tony Gwynn getting 3,000 hits through consistent daily effort.
It compounds over a career, like Maxwell's writing and speaking.
Exactly. Resist shortcuts. Do the hard, necessary work. Successful people do daily what others do only occasionally. Start well, finish well.
And you have to lead yourself first. Get better yourself before helping others.
Absolutely. You can't give what you don't have. Self-discipline is the prerequisite.
Which leads perfectly into the final overarching theme, personal growth.
The ultimate essential, perhaps. Because growth is the only guarantee tomorrow gets better. Aging happens automatically. Improving requires intention.
That high school reunion story.
A stark reminder. Some people just aged, others clearly improved. He gave those 5 ways not to act old.
Ask questions, keep standards high, focus on people, mind your posture, stay present.
That's it. Stay engaged, stay learning. Because personal growth fuels hope. A growth mindset is hope, like a tiny seed growing into a huge tree.
And the habit of growth strengthens hope.
Yes, it's gradual. Brooks said we grow through challenges, not ease. The law of the rubber band.
Growth stops if there's no tension between where you are and where you could be.
You need that stretch. Hoffer said learners inherit the future in times of change. It's about learning, unlearning, relearning, like Maxwell becoming a better writer over time.
It takes willingness to be uncomfortable, to change.
Definitely. Surrender being right to find what's right. Growth separates the successful from the average, and average isn't good enough.
Shift from just goal conscious to growth conscious. Focus on the journey.
Yes. The journey is where the transformation happens.
And a growth plan needs the big picture, the learning process, partners, and a strategic plan.
Those 4 elements give it structure. Where to grow, how to learn, who helps, what steps to take. Growth stretches you permanently.
The secret is daily action.
The secret of success is found in your daily routine, intentional daily habits for growth. Consistency and application are everything.
It really is a continuous journey, never ends.
Never. Like Casal's practicing cello at 81. Because I think I'm making progress. Keep learning, keep growing.
Wow, that's a lot to take in, but incredibly valuable. We've covered so much from Maxwell: leadership as influence, the need for personal growth, priorities, trust, integrity, leading change, solving problems, attitude, serving others, vision, self-discipline, and constant learning.
10 huge essentials. And it really underscores that leadership development is absolutely a lifelong journey, not just a course you take or a title you get.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, maybe think about these 10 areas. Which one right now feels most relevant to you?
Yeah, where's your biggest challenge or your biggest aspiration for growth as a leader or just as someone wanting to make a difference?
Is it about creating margin, building more trust, sharpening your vision?
Whatever it is, pick one, just one principle.
And maybe just think about one small, intentional step you could take starting today to apply it in your own life or work.
That's the way growth happens.
Yeah.
Small, consistent steps. And of course, there's always more to learn. Maxwell's work is a great resource to keep exploring.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Keep growing.